don't you go ahead and put the headsets on?
On. All right, shorten this one, shorten that one.
And we are now going to turn on everything here. That's a little bit better. Turn off the volume. Okay, say a couple of syllables, please.
Syllables. syllables.
No. Couple of syllables, please.
Oh, sorry. You got it more accurate.
Okay, so you can hear me, and I
Can hear you.
All right, we're going to go live right now. And we are back again. That we are at in Washington, D.C. at the Washington, D.C. Hilton Hotel. And we are here for Americans for Prosperity's Defending the American Dream Summit. And I want to welcome two of my friends from New Hampshire. They're following me. I'm getting stalked. What do you know? Just like Thaddeus McCarter during the summer when he was trying for his presidential run. Every time I'd be someplace, he'd follow me in.
Isn't that amazing?
You just have a problem being stalked everywhere. Huh?
I know it. But I'm joined by Alan Glassman and Diane Bitter. Both of you folks are activists from New Hampshire, especially in the Republican Party. And gosh, thanks for following me here.
Oh, it's been fun.
It's great to be here.
Imagine that, traveling 1,000 miles just to be interviewed by me.
Perfect. What else do we have to do, Alan?
That's an interesting perspective.
It is. But anyways, folks, why are you here? Is there something about this? Well, actually, I'm going to stop and say, there's obviously the idea of the American dream. And a lot of people here that I've already interviewed have said, there's a problem. So I'm going to ask the same two questions I've been asking everybody else. What is your version of the American dream? And contrast that with what you think the Obama administration's version of the American dream is. So, ladies first.
Oh, the American dream, of course, is to be able to pursue our dreams personally, to have our liberties, our freedoms, to be able to prosper in a way that enhances our individual lives, our businesses, our families, all of those things that keep us happy. And these are things that we're not being able to pursue right now. Everything that we're doing is being thwarted by the regulations that are being put on us by the federal government, and not the least of which is Obamacare, which is going to interfere with our lives on every level. So, basically, that's it.
Alan, how about you?
Sure. Well,
I'm going to ask if you can cozy up to the front of the mic just a little bit.
All right.
Good?
Okay, how's that?
Much better.
All right.
We're getting a little bit of background noise. Even though they have us down here kind of secreted away in the basement, Radio Row can get a little raucous, and I think, folks, what you're hearing in the background are other people saying, hey, let's yak. That's kind of what they do.
That's all right. We'll deal with it. But anyway, in answer to your question, I guess I can sum it up in very easily. It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the fact of the matter is that's what the Republican Party has been really focusing on of late, probably because we've got a president right now who seems to be saying, well, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but you didn't do it yourself. And the government is that omnipotent power out there that will make sure that our lives are just wonderful. But maybe there are some people out there who feel that that's the right way to go. But frankly, I think I can speak for a lot of Republicans out there, even a lot of independents out there, and maybe even a handful of Democrats out there who feel that they want to be able to have the opportunity to build something, grow something, run into the problems, solve the problems, feel good about solving those problems, and be successful. And we don't really need government leading us on a leash. It's always nice to have government behind us, backing us on certain things, but let's keep it within reason.
Yeah, and I would say, for me, I would say that I've come close to my American dream. That I've been able to do what I wanted to. I've had successes. I both received checks where I signed just the back of the checks, but I've also signed the front of paper checks. Yeah, my wife and I had a small business, and I will tell you, even back then, I didn't find the government much help. It was more of a hindrance because they all demanded their tribute in either paperwork or, in a lot of cases, me signing checks on the front for other things. And I used to keep thinking to myself, for the amount of money I'm spending in taxes, I could be putting 3 more people to work on a regular basis. And I just ran a daycare center.
I think you were putting 3 more people to work. There were federal employees.
That's right.
Well, given now that federal employees earn well above what we do in the private sector, maybe 3/4 of our federal employees.
Yep.
But it really is one of those deals where, and I'm going to sound like I'm bashing, and I'm okay with that. But is government helping when, daycares are very highly regulated, and people understand you're dealing with kids. It's for the children. But when government is getting, the government's getting more intrusive and kind of just flailing to justify itself. When I got for not having a thermometer in a freezer that was turned off.
This is nitpicking.
This is nitpicking, and there are other things along with that they would measure the heights of things, the width of things, they would look at the textures of different things, and if it wasn't exactly the way that they wanted, it was always an adversarial relationship. And
Exactly, not a support.
Correct, and you see that as, I think, part of the problem, where we've got this big debate. I'm going to ask you guys another question. Obama has this government-centric idea of how life should be. Romney is the other way. Most of us, my opinion is just leave me the heck alone. I'm an adult. I can live my own life. But do you see this conflation of government and society into one entity? Representative Jim Spillane famously said, well, government are the things that we all do together. And I looked at that and I heard that and I immediately went into a tear because, frankly, I don't need government to do a lot of things for a lot of other things. And you see that conflation of government and society. Is that a good thing from your perspective, Diane?
Absolutely not. It takes away the individual's free will. How can we aspire to anything lofty if we are just thrown in with the common denominator? So therefore, there's no reason to aspire to anything great or grand, because you're going to be just judged and thrown in with the masses. And not everyone is equal in every aspect. Some people excel in one area or another. Those people need to be allowed to expand that. And if we're all lumped together and all having to produce in the same way, it takes away the incentive and the motivation.
Alan?
I would certainly agree with everything that Diane is saying. I think that one of the beauties of our country that we've been able to experience for many years, and hopefully for more years in the future, is the individuality of people out there. The diversity of their ideas, the diversity of their backgrounds, everything that it all brings. And if there's a move towards uniformity, it takes out the opportunity for innovation, and it would certainly make life boring.
Absolutely.
Well, I kind of see it from the perspective that the more that government plays a larger role in society, it is going to conform us into one ideal. And I look at it from the founders' standpoint. They distinctly put government apart as a separate entity. It was supposed to be small. It was supposed to be limited, but it was not society. Civil society was to be the main emphasis in the founders' mind. That we would have the ability to, as you said, Diane, to be able to do what we want, when we want, protected as long as we didn't hurt each other, for
Exactly.
the most part. But now, with the idea that Obama has, Representative Blaine has, is that they have to meet together. And the problem was that society then becomes subordinate to all the government regulations.
Yep.
How do we stop this?
Vote in November.
The ballot box, yes, absolutely. But we also need to go back to our basic principles. One of the things we're exploring in New Hampshire now is the power of the sheriff. We've gotten away from realizing that our county sheriffs play a very vital role in our executive branch of government. And I don't think even the sheriffs realize what their power is, but they are charged with protecting the property of the people in their district. And I don't think everybody realizes that. So as our federal government becomes more and more of a bully in trying to take over our lives, I think it's time for our county sheriffs to step up and assert their powers.
And certainly there was one sheriff in New Hampshire running for election.
This is the emergency super Wednesday that in
Zabel, right?
Yes.
And he was making that a distinct point in his campaign that he will be a constitutional sheriff. And I have to say, it's probably shaking a whole lot of people because they've never heard that term before. And certainly I know Democrats are already starting to make noises in the blogosphere about this. What the heck is this? And they always make this idea of, well, we have to move forward. We have to move forward. Oh, those Tea Partiers, those 9/12ers, those Free Staters. Oh, Free Staters. They just want to drag us into anarchy. They don't want, they don't want us to be able to help people. What do you say to such nonsense?
Nonsense. That's exactly what you say is nonsense.
Well, dissect that. The implicit idea is that only government can help. Only government can properly take care of the poor. Only the government can provide an ordered society.
Well, let me just say that it's appropriate that it's you talking to us today because we're all New Hampshire residents. And the fact of the matter is, we talk about live free or die, and we sometimes overwork that in some of the things that we're talking about. But this is the perfect time to be talking about what live free or die means. And I mean, it's pretty apparent to us what live free or die means, and it means being able to live our lives the way we want to live our lives, as long as we're not intruding on the lives of others, to pursue our dreams, which is the theme of this event here in Washington, D.C. right now. I don't think I can say it any better than reverting to the motto of the state right now, to say that cut it out. Let's go back to those ideals, which shouldn't really be ideals, if you will. It can be real.
GrokTV.